a beautiful day for a neighbor. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. A neighborly day for a neighbor. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? My neighbor. So kids, we're here today to talk about BRI1, Brassical Steroid Insensitive 1. So, why is BRI1 important? BRI1 is important because due to the constant need to adapt to changing environments, plants have to change their shapes accordingly. This adaptation requires a very complex systems of signaling at the cellular level. Phytohormones such as brassical steroids, or BR, are a cluster of small molecules allowing the plant to change their shapes and using transcriptional cascades and signaling networks. BR is what allows the plant to respond to its environment. So, you guys want to learn more about this? How about let's go on a field trip? Come on. Hello!
Oh, hey there.
Hi, are you the plant bio expert?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Mr. Rogers.
Ben.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you.
So, I'm here today because I'm interested in plant development, and specifically the BRI1 gene. I do know a little information about it myself. I did take PLB 113 back in my days in college, you know. So, correct me if I'm wrong. So brassical steroids was first identified about 40 years ago? Yeah, so 40 years ago by J. Louis Mitchell and his colleagues. They studied the extract of rapeseed pollen of the Brassica napus species and discovered its relations to stem elongation and cell division, correct?
Oh yeah, that's correct. But to add on to that, scientists noticed that because the BRI1 structure was so important to the BR response, it is quite likely that the BRI1 is a BR receptor.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
Yes. Well, why don't we continue this talk in my lab?
All right, lead the way.
Let's have a seat.
All right, thank you.
Welcome to my lab, the great outdoor. Well, tell me what else you know.
So one thing I do know is that what questions the BRI1 gene addresses. So for example, by studying the BRI1 gene, it addresses the questions of how the transduction of BR signals through BRI1 receptor kinase affects various aspects of plant growth through mechanisms of BR perception, receptor kinase activation, and
BR regulation of gene expression.
exactly, and that's why you're the plant expert. So anyways, specifically, the biological process questions addressed are how BR signaling pathway functions primarily in the cell expansion and how the key components of BR signaling serve as molecular checkpoints to relay BR signals onto other signaling pathways.
Oh wow, you seem to know a lot about this. What else do you remember?
So I do remember the pathway that's involved in plant development and its components, but I'm not really clear about it. I don't remember that well.
Oh, don't worry about it. Just go on with what you know. I'll explain to you in my office later.
So I know that the knowledge involved with BR signal transduction has recently expanded, making it one of the most well understood pathways in plants. This includes the understanding of BR perception of BRI1, dimerization, phosphorylation sites, the BRI1 autoregulatory domain, and activities of BRZI, or BZRI, and BES1, BES1. However, after studying BRI1, many questions are raised, especially in the unknown area between BRI1, BAK1, and BIN2.
Oh, you're right on the mark. But let me add on to that. After looking at Arabidopsis thaliana, the BR was identified as a new type of phytohormone. My studies have shown that the BR pathway demonstrated an influence in nucleus gene expression out to the cell surface ligand perception. It is very important in promoting or interfering with plant development, growth, and all plant life cycle stages. It controls the processes of seed, germination, vegetative growth, somatic development, flowering, and fertility. Other results have shown that BR can also bring a variety of other cellular level responses, including things like stem elongation, pollen tube growth, leaf bending, root inhibition, fruit ripening, and xylem differentiation.
Wow, That was a lot of information. I'm still a little unclear about it.
Oh, don't worry. I have visual aids in my office. Let's go. Well, welcome to my office. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Well, let me show you how the BRI1 works in the BR pathway visually.
All right, let's do this. I'm excited.
The figures that we're about to look at is from Tansley Review, and it's an article called The Molecular Circuitry of Racinosteroid Signaling by Yosef Belkadir and Yvonne Jalas. So, as you can see, the main receptor of the BR signal transduction pathway is BRI1. BR binds to the BRI1 receptor kinase localized in the cell membrane, which is a leucine-rich repeat receptor kinase. The binding of BR to BRI1 activates a signaling cascade, which ultimately leads to the BR-induced changes in gene expression related to plant growth. Once BR is bound to BRI1, it heterodimerizes with its co-receptor BAK1 and separates from its inhibitor BKI1. This results in the activation of BRI1 kinase activity and to the transphosphorylation between the domains of BRI1 and BAK1. Activation of BRI1 or BAK1 then regulates indirectly the function of BIN2 kinase, which directly regulates the phosphorylation and accumulation of the two related transcription factors BZR1 and BES1. BRI1 and BAK1 regulates the function of BIN2 indirectly because the mechanism is still unclear. BZR1 and BES1 directly binds to the promoter of BR responsive genes to regulate their expression. Overall, the activation of BRI1 and BIN2 results in various cascades leading to elongation growth, stomatode development, lateral root development, auxin signaling, and patterns of root epidermis. Well, that's BRI1 in a nutshell.
Wow, I learned a lot today. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Come back anytime.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Wow, what a fun and educational day we had together. So kids, together we learned a lot about BRI1. We learned how BRI1 is important for various aspects of plant development, including flowering. Overall, BRI1 signal pathway is significant because an ideal model for observing plant receptor kinase signaling and steroid signaling of cell surfaces. Well, that's enough learning for one day. Tune in next week to learn more wonderful new things. Bye-bye.